Hey, our friends. I just made a 31-minute long video and deleted it. It was too long. So I'm going to really try to be short because I put all these awesome YouTube videos in here for you to watch this week. Okay. So I'm going to speed it up this time. Really quickly on your digital portfolio, some of you have got it and some of you are like, I don't know what to do. So with your digital portfolio, you're not filling up every tab right now. This is like for you to where to put your art from all year. So every time we add a new project, you're going to add a new picture to your slide. And I just made like a bunch of slides so you can have a bunch of different colors. So don't feel pressure. Don't stress out like you have to come up with like 10 artworks to put in there. You are just doing like one thing this week, or you're putting like a previous artwork in there. So like this is Sanjay's. You got put your name on the top. Put your name on the front page. Underneath the artist, put your picture. He wrote about he hates sitting still. I am totally with you, Sanjay. And then his first one, his first art, the thing that he wants in his portfolio, he created widgets for his home screen, which is cool. I'm going to make a video about that in just a second. Um, this is what he's highlighting. So he literally just did these first few, and that's what I expect you to do. Don't freak out. It doesn't have to be full. You're going to add to this all year long. And then in May, you're going to be able to click through here and you can see it's kind of like a summary of everything you've done this year. Okay. All right. Don't freak out. Clay. All right. So it is Clay Week at Artisan. I say Clay Week, it's Clay Month because when you do clay in person, it's a tremendous process. You have to like play with it to learn how to work it. Because if I just handed kids, a ball of clay and said, "Here, make something," I would just get a bunch of like snowmen. I've done that before. That's what, everybody just kind of starts going like this. And I'm like, hey, I got 300 snowmen. So there's a lot of play. You have to play with it. And then there's some planning and then making and then firing and then glazing. And it's this huge process. And I know you're at home and I know that that is hard. But I want you to know what we're doing and I want you to understand the process. And then if you come back, maybe we'll try to do some clay in the spring. And if you don't come back this year, maybe we'll see you next year and we'll get a chance to do it and you'll know what we're talking about. I just want you to have a very similar experience to what kids are doing here at school. Okay, so these are just little clay projects. The clay that we use is actually from the earth. So it is not like a man made plastic product, like it's actually dirt. And what happens with kids is the first lesson we do, we call it clay play. And you're just making a couple of things. And this is like an example. My son made this at this really cool place called Stamps, Osage Pottery in Stamps, Arkansas. And if you go there, the kids get to make like a free little pinch pot. It's so cute. This is one of the first things we do is you make a little pinch pot. So you can experience squeezing the clay and not breaking it because it is really sensitive. Whenever you're working with clay, you use lots of tools. We have a wood modeling tool, a sponge, a needle tool. Um, yeah, you need to use these to add details. If you add too much water, what happens? It's just a pile of mud, right? We have been taking advantage of the weather and we've been making these outside. We've been doing clay outside and we've been spreading out really far and letting everybody social distance. So it's a good plan. In the spring, we usually do this in the spring and we missed it because of crisis teaching. So we were like, we need to do this quick and we need to get this in while the weather is great and everyone's still here. So um, pinch pot. So the kids make a little pinch pot. Then they create a coil. And I know you think it's easy. Coiling is easy with products like Play-Doh. It is very hard with clay because when you're rolling it, the water is kind of like evaporating out of it and it starts cracking. So you have to get really good at learning how to keep your clay soft and making coils. And kids use coils in different ways, like feet, like the bottoms of like pots and like bowls, or you make a coil and kids cut it up, and that is like the arms and legs of what you're doing. Okay. Slab. We have kids make slabs. That's where you use like a dough roller, you use a dowel rod and you roll it out and you make a flat slab. That this is actually how you make mugs, like a coffee mug. You would roll a super flat slab and then you would make a cylinder out of it. So that's how you make that. Okay. So clay process. The kids they play, then they plan, and then they make. And after they make, the clay has to sit for weeks. Yeah. And that's called greenware. And what is happening is it's science. We are letting the water content of the clay evaporate. And this is super important because if we don't do that when we put it in the kiln and there's water in the clay and the water particles are getting heated, and when the water particles get heated, it starts to make, it starts to bump around inside there. And then if it gets to too high of a temperature, all of these particles are shaking in the clay, the water particles, and then it causes it to explode. And it's not like a crazy explosion. It's usually just like a ping sound. And then, but it's broken, and we do not want kids' things to be broken. So it sits out and dries for weeks, and then it goes in the kiln. The clay that we have, it is a low fire clay. I know it sounds like it would be like really chill. No, it's 1800 degrees. The kiln has to be 1800 degrees to fire this clay. And when you fire a kiln, it's a 24-hour process because like when you make pizza or cookies or whatever, if you preheat your oven, boop, 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 and it's like 375, is your oven immediately 375? No, it's got to slowly climb. Same with the kiln. So it's got to climb to 1800 degrees. It has to stay at 1800 degrees for so long. And then the cooling process has to happen. And it takes hours and hours for it to cool down enough for us to open it. If we open it too early, cold air rushes in the kiln and everything will break and explode. I know, isn't that crazy? So Bisqueware. Bisqueware is like what it comes out like after you bake it. And how you can tell if something is Bisqueware is it sounds like this. Are you ready? No, wait, that's not a very pretty sound. If it rings, if you have a piece of pottery and you tap it, that means it has been fired and it has that nice ringing sound. So that means it is a piece of bisqueware. Okay. After bisque, you glaze. Glaze is a paint, and there is like ground, like it's glass, silica. It's mixed in there, and you paint it on, and you get to choose colors, and then it's fired again, and it causes it to melt and fuse and create that nice shiny surface that you know as pottery. So I'm going to show you a couple pieces. So this piece is really fun. Miss Kalsovic made this for me for Christmas. And so this is the kind of clay. Yeah, this is clay. And you can see the different colors that she used. And this is a watercolor palette. You can put watercolor in it, but I put earrings in it because I like it. And it's got all these little sections, and it keeps me from losing stuff. The next piece I have, I'm going to show you this one. This one I made in college. So it is an actual artifact, like historical, like it's so old. So this piece, I made it on the wheel. I threw it. I built it up, fired it. You cover it in porcelain slip. I know, it's so weird. It's like, and it's a smooth, soft coating. And then you make this fire outside, and you have a cover on it, and you heat it, and you make your pot really, really, really hot. And then you uncover it, and then you have horsehair. This is horsehair. Isn't that weird? So it's horsehair, and then you throw the horsehair on this, and it makes this just really cool. This is a feather. This one's a feather. And it just makes this really cool, surface. It's fun. And then this piece I made I made it when I was like kids were making stuff, so I was able to make stuff with them. And I made this for my son, and it's a little dinosaur. You can see his little face. And I cut all of those little spikes out and put them along his back. Now, this one I just painted with acrylic paint. I didn't do a glaze. So if you paint with acrylic paint, you don't have to fire it again. I just wanted to glaze it. All right, I just wanted to paint it. I didn't want to glaze it. So that is earthenware clay. These are the videos that I usually show kids before we do clay. So I thought that you may want to watch some of these because they are pretty interesting. This one's about like clay and like where you get it from the earth and stuff. It's cool. This one is fun. So this has helped a lot of kids in my class learn how to make structured animals because that is a really difficult thing to make. And I had one kid one year, he made this exact rhino and it was really cool. This one's so fun. So this is a pottery wheel. We do not do the pottery wheel. It is difficult. So this video is really funny because this little kid's trying to use a pottery wheel. And when I was in college, I did a pottery wheel, but it took me about a year to get good at it. You have to be really strong. Your hands have to be really strong. Your arms have to be really strong because you have to be really still. I also ruined my fingernails and my skin because I think it's like rubbing against, all day long. It's awful. Okay. If you're at home, everybody has different stuff. So I'm just going to talk about some things that you could use if you're at your house. Or if you don't have these things, I have a cool electronic alternative for you. So Play-Doh. I love Play-Doh as a product. It's not staining. You can put it away and reuse it. Yeah, I love it. Or you can leave it out and you can let it dry and harden if you want something to be permanent. So Play-Doh is a good option, usually between 50 cents and $1 at the store. So that's pretty good. And I know I can get it. I put some in the cart. I know when we do that, we have our stuff either delivered or we go pick it up for the groceries, and at the neighborhood market, they have Play-Doh. I'll put some in the cart every once in a while. Model Magic. So this one's really fun. Model Magic is an air dry clay and it's super soft and super light. I think my son has made slime out of this at one point. I'm not really sure. I found Model Magic at Dollar Tree. So, and it was just $1 for a package. It was pretty cool. I like white Model Magic so that you can create your little characters or your little figures and you can then like use a Sharpie or paint it. So I think that's pretty fun. This clay. All right. This plasticine clay or plasticina, and I believe the brand is Jovi. This is a clay that we usually have in the classroom, but with COVID, we are not having anything that multiple kids use. It's really hard. This clay is so awesome, though. It is an oil-based clay, and it does not dry out. So how we would use it is we would have this whole container. Like we buy this multi-pack, and we'll put it in a big tub, and kids can make and build, and they can put it in there, and then other kids can get it out and use it. Or, I mean, it's awesome. It's such a good product. One thing I'm going to say is that it is very oily, and it leaves an oily residue on stuff. And it could leave your fingertips. It could color it just a little bit. So anytime you're building with any stuff like this, any kind of clay product, you cannot be on a surface that you want to keep perfect. So as always with anything, you need to ask your parents' permission before using any kind of art product at all. Get their blessing, right? I let my kid does stuff outside. I don't want to clean it up in the house. I send him outside. I'll put him on like we have an old glass dining table that I saved for him for art projects. Glass is awesome because you could just scrape it off, or like if you have like a plastic tub, like a storage tub, in the lid that's nice and flat and plastic, that's a good surface to use too. I do not want you to make a mess in your house. Don't do that. I'm telling you this right now. Listen to me. All right. This is my evidence, my proof. Listen. Fimo. I love Fimo. Here, this is a different this, and or it's also called Sculpty. This is what it looks like. It's right here. I learned to use this product this summer because a lot of people that I follow on Instagram, a lot of makers, I call them makers now, they're doing earrings, and I make jewelry. And here, and so I was like, I want to learn how to make these earrings. So over the summer, I kind of taught myself how to make them. And these are some earrings that I made. Okay, and they look like this. And you layer on the clay, and then you use little cutters, and then you bake it. This is the clay that you have to bake. You have to bake it in the oven, and then I drill the holes with a Dremel. That's a little tool, and then add the hardware. So that's the kind of clay that I know how to use. You can get this clay. They have it. They sell it at Walmart. You can get it at Amazon. You can get it at Hobby Lobby. It's fun. This is you need adult supervision anytime there's an oven involved. You need to. This is a little tutorial that I show for kids that like to use clay like this. And it's like a little character tutorial. It's really cute. You can watch it if you like. Okay. So if your parents are like, they love you making stuff, at your house, but you don't have the other products, you can make some. Here's a recipe for salt dough. I always do salt dough, usually before Christmas. We make ornaments. I do my son's handprint. I love this dog print right here. I think I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to do that because we have a puppy, so I'm going to do a dog print. It's just really special. I just love stuff like that. So the recipe is here. All it takes is flour, salt, and water. And add the water slowly. Don't add too much water. It's just going to be goop. And then you get to creating with it. Roll it out like you're making cookies, You have to bake this one too. So this is an adult supervision thing. You do not have to make any of this, but I just wanted to give all these options out to you. This video, I liked it because it is using the salt dough, and it's showing you, it's a short video, and it's showing you how to make these cute little dishes, like ring dishes and like change dishes and stuff out of the salt dough. So that's a good one. All right. So if you're like, hey, crazy art lady, I don't have any of this stuff. I'm not making it. I don't have any clay. I'm not doing any of this. I completely understand. I completely get it. But there is a really cool app that we use in the classroom, and it is called Let's Create Pottery. Okay. And I looked for an online version so that you can do it on your Chromebook, but there isn't one. But if you have a tablet or a phone, you can put it on there. And the app looks like that. That's what the logo looks like. There's two versions. There's a light that's free, and there's a full version, and it's like $2.99 or something. The versions are not very different. Let me show you really quick. This is what it looks like. Here they go. The two different ones are right here. You can see there's the white one, and then the brown one. And when you click on it, it's so fun. It allows you to create pottery. It's like a wheel, and you use your fingers, and you can cinch or you can expand, and you make your own piece of pottery. Then you have to fire it. Then you have to paint it. And then you actually auction it and you sell it. And in the game, you get like coins. And then when you have more like coins, you can buy brushes and colors. It's really fun. The main difference between the two, okay, the free one is super good. The free one's awesome. The one that's $2.99 is it allows you to do this like virtual reality, and you can put your pot on the table in front of you digitally, and then you can walk around it and you can see the details of your pot in 3D. It's really cool. I made a video for this app, and I'm going to put it on here. I'm going to upload it with the lessons so that if you want to do the pottery app, you can do that. All right. So in summary, clay, that's what we're doing at school. So I kind of wanted you to have that opportunity to learn about it at home. If you have supplies, it's okay. If you don't, it is okay. And if you would like to try to do pottery digitally, that is really cool. If I'll put another option online too. Like if you guys want to do like a drawing or something this week, because I know some of you're like, hey, what do you want me to do if I don't have any of this stuff? I'll put something else out there too. So I hope you've enjoyed this video about clay. And I hope the weather's awesome this weekend. It's beautiful and you get to go outside. And if there's anything I can ever do for you, I'm just an email away. And if you don't see any helpers, you can be one. And I will be seeing you at your meets. All right. Have a wonderful weekend.